Gus was a happy-go-lucky dog who loved peanut butter, long walks in the forest, and basking in the sun. He lived in a small town with his loving owner, Lucy. Gus and Lucy were inseparable, so when Gus escaped during a tumultuous storm one evening, Lucy was beside herself. She did everything she could to find Gus, to no avail, calling neighbors, visiting nearby shelters, putting up flyers, and posting on social media. Lucy was absolutely devastated, but little did she know that Gus was just fine a few towns over. After escaping his home and hiding in the park until the storm was over, Gus couldn't help but notice Millie and her owner David the next day. He saw them playing in the park where he had made his temporary home and knew he had to say hello. It was truly love at first sight for Gus and Millie. David also fell in love with Gus, but was sure that he had to be lost. David and Millie stayed in the park all day, hoping that Gus's owner would eventually show up. Hours later, no one came. Nightfall came, but David wasn't sure if he should take Gus home with him and Millie or return to the park the next day to check on him. It seemed that Millie, however, decided for them, as she would not leave the park without her new boyfriend, Gus. David saw no other choice. He took Gus home and made a plan for the following day to help find Gus's owner. Gus and Millie were still inseparable that night, sharing food, toys, and even smooches. The following day, after a long night of trying to get Millie and Gus to sleep, David decided to start the morning at the park where he found Gus. He had hoped that his owner would come looking for him there. While at the park, he began calling shelters in the area and asking other park goers. No one knew of a missing dog named Gus. Suddenly, David noticed a woman hanging up flyers on the other side of the street. He had a strange feeling, almost like he knew her. Lucy finished hanging up some lost dog flyers and made her way over to the park, where she saw lots of dogs. Immediately, Gus came running, and Millie and David followed. Just like it was love at first sight for Gus and Millie, Lucy and David followed suit. 1 year later, Lucy, David, Gus, and Millie became an official family. Lucy and David planned to marry in an intimate forest setting with their beloved Millie and Gus.